Crawlspace encounters. We got another one here. Let's take a look, see what's going on with this one. It's about 85 degrees right now. It's a pretty warm day. And please press the like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. That's important. I need to know what you guys are thinking out there. But let's hop to it. Alright, no critters in here right now. Let's get some of these spider webs out of the way. Looks like a little bit of water gets in right there. You always want to kind of just pause for a second. You never know who's down here to welcome you. Let's check the moisture readings right now. 14.5%. That's pretty good. That's right at the Crawlspace door. Let's get up in here a little bit. Wow, it looks like a brand new HVAC system. Look at that. Someone new. That's pretty cool. Got a little dehumidifier right here. Not sure if it's running. It's got some numbers on it. It's tiny. This Crawlspace is pretty big. If you're going to put a dehumidifier in the Crawlspace, always make sure it's going to be the right amount of cubic footage. Usually going to be a commercial grade. This size Crawlspace is pretty big. This is a big Crawlspace. You want to get something like 90 pints per day, 85 pints per day. Alright, I'm going to get down here a little bit more, see if we find anything. Give me a minute. Alright, so we're in the middle of the Crawlspace here. Saw bunch of water. Kind of need to see what's going on here. So I tracked down, there was this dehumidifier right here. Looks like it's leaking pretty good. Sometimes it backs up, gets filled with sludge. That's quite a bit of water right here. So that's been happening for some time. Santa Fe 70. Not too sure. It's a small little unit. You gotta keep an eye on these things every year. If you're gonna do it yourself, not hire a company that's gonna maintain it. You know, that filter, see that filter? Absolutely nasty. This filter hasn't been changed in a while. That's the reason why it's probably acting the way it is. You spend a whole bunch of money on a dehumidifier and you don't take care of it. Got all kinds of insulation just falling down here. This place is a mess. This is why I've said I'm not a big fan of insulation in a Crawlspace. It's just, it gets soggy. I'm sorry, the video's kind of hang tight. I'm trying to get through some plumbing here. Yeah, this thing is flooding up pretty good. spider webs everywhere. Goodness gracious. See that fungus build up there? Got some mildew and fungus. Let's take some moisture ratings here. I got 8.6%. That's really dry. Even though this dehumidifier looks like it's leaking everywhere. It looks like it's still, believe it or not, it's still working. Santa Fe, some are good, some are bad. Like I said, dehumidifiers are one of those things where you just got to keep an eye on. You might have a good one, bad one, but you definitely always want to maintain it. Keep it checked. I'm going to leave this one alone. To our moisture readings. They're hanging in there right here in the middle of the crawl space, so I'm surprised. Alright, we're going to keep crawling over here. I'll see you in a second. Alright, got to a little off the center towards the other side of the house. I got a dead mouse here. I got a bunch of dead mice. Insulation just falling everywhere. Folks, it's just really important to just keep an eye on your crawl space. Like I said, I can't stress this anymore. Man, it's just important to... You're breathing a lot of this stuff in. Believe it or not. You're breathing a lot of this stuff in the house. Yeah, wow. Bunch of dead more mice. Had a field day down here. Looks like he goes into this room in here too. Let's squeeze up in here, see if we find anything. Alright, we made it to the other side. Alright, so got a bunch of fungus growing on the wood beams. Now, this is a wood destroying fungi. Stain fungi. I gotta be careful. A lot of companies go around saying things are, you got mold. You know, it is a certain kind of mold. It's not a, well, I'm not a doctor, but it's definitely not a health related mold or I'd be dead by now. Just gotta be careful. A lot of companies go around talking about mold, scaring people into, you know, what's happening with their crawl space. Once you mention the word mold, people start panicking, and they panic buy some things. So you definitely want to try to keep the word mold out of it. It's actually a fungus. It's a wood destroying fungi. It needs moisture to survive. About 65-70% moisture to survive. Basically, it eats away at the sugars and starches of the wood, allowing to become more porous, to allow more moisture to come in. Then after a while, that can start settling in and becoming something more like a wood rot. See right there, you've got one of those vents are open. They're not open, but it's not sealed off around it. Keep this in mind. You've got a dehumidifier trying to control things down here. You don't want to have anything. You want to help out that dehumidifier as much as possible, just for the simple fact that it's like running air conditioning and opening up the windows in the house. It's not going to really help much. The air conditioning will just keep running and running and running and running. So you want to seal off those vents when you have a dehumidifier in here. Get ourselves a little buddy right here. A little dead mouse. Sorry, guy. He probably died an excruciating death. Here's another one. Alright, so for the most part, got some fungus down here. Not too much standing water, if any. So Crawlspace holds its own. Just a lot of spider webs all over the place. Goodness gracious. My head is covered in webs. I got myself a little wig. Look like George Washington when I come out of here. I looked at the plumbing. No leaks down here. For the most part, like I said, you know, the insulation, a lot of this drops down. Moisture will, they get heavy with moisture. Snakes come in here chasing all these mice. We get some pretty large snakes. They can find their way in here. They find these mice, and they can actually live down here for quite some time. Look at this guy. Well, this guy had a serious mouse problem. I'm sure the ones that are dead, but you can guarantee that there's more out here in the evening time. So back to the insulation. If you live in a region where your winters are extremely mild, this is just a lot. Mice love to get up in this insulation. Chipmunks get up in there, the snakes get up in there, and the insulation starts falling down. And for the most part, sometimes the insulation will fall down and rest right on your plumbing lines. Just like that. You know, sometimes heavier portions. And then, you know, if it's a weak plumbing line and you got some weight on it and it's just putting a bunch of weight on it, that's going to cause you some problems eventually in the future. But, alright, I'm going to get to the other side. See you in a minute. Alright, made it to the other side. One area of concern right here. This is pretty cool. Well, I guess it's pretty cool. But you don't see this every day. This right here is carpenter ant frass. This is just shavings from wood. Coming right up, probably on the siding, I'm gonna guess. And you can tell it's carpenter ants because carpenter ants, you'll see body parts. Carpenter ant body parts. That's what they do. That's how you figure out if it's carpenter ants. You end up seeing like some body parts in there. Well, I guess also another clue would be if there's a carpenter ant and a spider web here, but looks like they're not here. I did notice a bunch of carpenter ant activity on the outside. That's crazy. You have to understand these black carpenter ants are also a wood destroying organism. They don't eat the wood, but they sure do carve. And they're very strong. They have very strong mandibles. They will carve through wood like nothing. I've seen it happen. I've seen them in action. I'll actually put a video on from carpenter ants coming in and out of the center of a tree, which is actually pretty crazy. I've never caught a video like that before, but I was actually seeing them in action. It's interesting, but this is definitely a wood destroying organism. You definitely don't want this in your house. They will start getting into the wall voids of your home, the exterior of the house, wood frame, and do some damage. But here, once again, you start seeing some more insulation here just falling down. Goodness. Just see a lot of insulation just falling down here. For the most part, the moisture is okay. A lot of bugs down here. A lot of dead mice, goodness gracious. Carpenter ants, you don't get to see that every day. But like I said, I don't see them crawling around here. Might be active, might not be. Might be up there already settled into a wall void or something. But for the most part, besides a trillion spider webs, a dehumidifier that's on its last leg. Bunch of dead mice. Haven't seen a snake. I'm surprised. Usually when you start seeing a lot of snake activity, mice activity, you see some snakes. This is an area right here always been a concern to me. Look at that. These galvanized boots from the air conditioning, the vents that are going into the into your actually living area. You can see the decking, the plywood. See that? How it's all rotting real good right there. That's from the condensation from the AC, the humidity down here. The rusted nail real good right there. It's always good to check that out. Sometimes when you go upstairs and you see the hardwood floors, they start getting discolored. And that's the reason why these galvanized boots, whatever you call them, for the AC, release some moisture. Excuse me if I'm moving around all weird, but I'm trying to knock down all these spider webs. Goodness, this is like a haunted house down here. I gotta clean the camera angle. Alright, camera's clean. More spider webs. Let's get these guys out of the way. We got another dead mouse. Wow. That's gotta be about 8 or 9 that we've seen already, maybe 10. Insulation falling down. You can see the debris in there. You can see where the mice were actually kind of hanging out in there. So that one was probably due to some mice. Nothing's dripping water here. Yeah, that little dehumidifier kicked on. That's still trying to do its thing. Alright, well, this is another crawl space here. Like I said, hang on tight, let me clean this camera. Alright, like I said, not all crawl spaces are terrible. I'm going to be posting some ones that'll just blow your mind. If you're a new homeowner, you're looking to purchase a house with a crawl space, you know, don't always rely on an inspector. If you have no choice, I get it. If you do have a choice, you don't mind throwing some knee pads on and some old clothes and a good flashlight, get down in the crawl space. Take a look at things. Get down there after a rainstorm. Get down there at any extreme weather conditions, heat, rain, whatever. Check out your crawl space. A lot of times inspectors, you don't know who you're going to get. You might catch a lazy one, a Monday inspector or a Friday inspector. But take a look around. You don't want to inherit a problem. Check your plumbing lines. Check anything for leaks. Just do everything you can to kind of see what's going on. I'm not saying all crawl spaces are bad. You know, like this one here, it needs some work. But for the most part, you know, it's not terribly bad. I've seen some pretty bad ones, and this one needs a little buttoning up. The duct lines are all pretty much intact. This one looks like it's been taped up quite a bit, but at least they're doing something to keep the air conditioning going. You can see that this right here was, you can see the mineral buildup right here. You can tell that during really hot weather, before they actually had the dehumidifiers on it, this thing was probably dripping water, condensating from the humidity. Or you're running cold air in these pipes, you're gonna get some condensation coming down. So they got brand new flex line here, and I just went ahead and tied it all in together. So do your part, hire somebody, do an inspection every once in a while to your home, to your crawl space. It's really, really important to check all these things out. The condensation pump from the HVAC system, you want to make sure that that thing is running right. You want to make sure that everything is vented properly. Call an HVAC guy out, have your stuff checked out. You never know, you might be without air conditioning in one or two of your rooms, and it's only because one of the duct lines might not be connected, or something might be going on. Check the humidity down here all the time. Remember, the wood that they use down here, none of it, this is the only thing that's pressure treated right here, because it's resting on up here. But the rest of this wood down here, none of it is pressure treated lumber. None of it. So it's not designed to withstand moisture and termites or any wood boring insects or you name it. So you want to keep an eye on the wood. You want to keep an eye on things because that's how things start getting nasty. Inside the house, you start getting all kinds of ripples and creaks. You name it. Things don't get level anymore. You start blaming it on your cabinets or whatever. And it's this down here. This is all taking shape. Remember, right now it's hot as heck outside. Come fall, you know, the wood's gonna take shape. Everything's gonna start taking shape all over again. So it's an on and off process throughout the years. So keeping an eye on these things are super important. But anyway, hey, listen, I want to thank you so much. Leave a comment behind. Let me know what's going on, what you think, if you need some advice. But I appreciate it. It's a good adventure. Thanks for keeping me company in the crawl space. It's always good to have some company down here, not just a bunch of dead mice. But I'll see you on the next show. I appreciate you. I'm sure we're going to have some good ones coming up here pretty soon. Or bad, however way you want to see it. But anyway, thank you. I appreciate you guys.